Hi everybody. I'm actually back here, but I wanted to share with you the reading that I did for myself for New Year's. Basically what you do is you draw 13 cards, and I'll take you around the circle in a second. But basically the cards represent each month of the year, and then the center card there represents the year as a whole. So I'm going to go through the reading and then kind of give you some of my thoughts on it. So you zoom in, the card, and if you're wondering, this is the Legend deck, the Arthurian tarot deck, which I absolutely adore. It is my all-time favorite. So the card here, let me pick it up for you, is the Empress. This is Guinevere herself. And I think that's a pretty auspicious card to be the general card for 2016. But that is actually the 13th card that you pull. So let's start from the beginning. You start here. So again, this is a big circle, but you start here. This is January, which is the Six of Shields. You might know that as coins in other decks. February, Ten of Swords. Yeah, doesn't look like February is going to be all that great. But then we get a couple of knights come in. March, the Knight of Swords, which is Gawain, one of my favorites. I love this deck because I know the Arthurian legend so well that I'm actually able to help explain to people what their cards mean by using the stories from Arthurian legend. So that's pretty cool. Then for April, we have the Knight of Spears, Bedivere. And then in May, and I'll talk about this in a minute, but this is the Queen of Cups for May. This is Britannia. And I have to say, this has become one of my favorite cards in the deck, so I'm happy to see Britannia show up. And then in June, we have the Six of Swords. In July, we have the Page of Spears. Spears is also wands in a lot of decks. And then in August, that is right, yes, August, we have the Moon. This is Morgan Le Fay. In September, we have the Four of Shields, or coins. October, which is my birth month, is another queen, which is one of the interesting things that I'm noticing about this reading. This is the Queen of Shields. This is Queen Igraine, who was Arthur's mother. And then in November, we have Strength. And in December, we have the Ace of Swords. So, you know, I'm not as good at reading for other people as I am, or for myself as I am for other people. But let me give you a couple of things that I'm seeing from an intuitive perspective. First of all, obviously, having the Empress, having Guinevere as the center card is, I think, auspicious. I think she is a card of feminine strength, of a woman who is sort of coming into her own. And is basically controlling her own life. So I'm pleased that that's in the center. Some of the other things that I'm seeing, obviously we've got an issue here in February. The Ten of Swords isn't a great card to pull at any time, but it's a card of strife. It's a card of conflict. It's hard to say, of course, at this point, what exactly it's referring to, but it often refers to conflicts with others, say I'm getting the sense that this might be work or something of that nature, but there's a lot of conflict here. But what's interesting about that is if you go almost directly across, so you've got this is February, and then you go across to August, you see another card with a lot of, it's almost a negative pull here. I'm kind of feeling like the moon, there's a sense of things hidden, things that aren't being brought to the surface. So it's just, I found it interesting that those two called me across the reading, which is always something that I look for when two cards sort of call from their different, well, whatever, you get it. The other thing I'm noticing, there's lots of queens, lots of knights. We've got two knights here. We've got a queen. We've got obviously Guinevere, but then we have Igraine up here. So there's a lot, and then there are several, along with Strength, the Empress, the Moon. There are also several major arcana cards. So when I see a lot of face cards, when I see a lot of major arcana cards, that tends to be, that tends to tell me that this is a big year with a lot of things going on, a lot of things happening, which isn't totally surprising knowing what I know about my life. Let me see if there's anything else interesting that I'm seeing so far. I love seeing Britannia show up. Britannia is a card that when I first started using this deck, which I'm telling you guys has to be 15, 20 years ago, I pulled the Queen of Swords, who is more Gauss in this deck, as my significator. But lately, I've been pulling Britannia. And the Queen of Cups is about creativity. She's about a creative woman. She's about someone who is, creating from this, basically from the sense of motherhood, although I'm not a mother, not becoming a mother again at this age. But the point is that this is a card of blossoming, of creation, of beauty. And I do like the fact that she's shown up. Yeah, those are my initial reactions. Nothing except for this, obviously not looking forward to February. There's something going on in February. And then I think August and September also might have some issues, but they're going to be less sort of upfront and in your face than whatever is going on in February. But if I have other ideas about my reading, I will let you know.